Hello everyone and welcome back to the multilingual method. Have you ever wondered how a 2-year-old child, without taking grammar classes or memorizing vocabulary lists, can already produce complete sentences? How do children acquire language so quickly? And why is learning a second language often much more difficult for adults? In today's video, we will explore the fascinating field of language acquisition, the scientific study of how humans learn language. Let's begin. What is language acquisition? Language acquisition is the process through which humans learn to understand and produce language. There are two main types: first language acquisition or L1 acquisition, which refers to learning one's native language, and second language acquisition or L2 acquisition, which refers to learning an additional language after the first language. Children acquire their first language naturally through interaction with people around them, while second language are often learned in classrooms or through immersion. Is language learned or innate? This is one of the biggest questions in linguistics. Is language something we learn, or are we born with the ability to acquire it? There are different theories that provide answers to this. Let's look at the most influential ones. The first theory is the behaviorist. In the 50s, psychologist Skinner argued that language is learned through imitation, repetition, and reinforcement. According to this theory, children copy what adults say, and when they produce the correct form, they are rewarded by praise or communication, so that they are encouraged to repeat those forms. However, there is a problem with this theory, and that is, this theory cannot explain why children often produce sentences they have never heard before. The next theory that was in contrast with the behaviorist theory was the nativist theory proposed by the famous linguist Noam Chomsky. He proposed that humans are born with an innate ability for language. He introduced the idea of the language acquisition device, or LAD. According to Chomsky, every healthy child has an inborn capacity for language. Children can understand grammatical rules they have never been taught, and all human languages share underlying universal principles. This theory revolutionized modern linguistics. Another theory was the interactionist theory that emphasized the role of social interaction. Researchers such as Jerome Bruner argued that language develops through communication between children and caregivers. Parents naturally simplify their speech when talking to children. This is often called child-directed speech or motherese. Children learn language through meaningful interaction, not simply by memorizing words. There are four main stages of language acquisition. Let's see what they are one by one. The first stage is called babbling, that happens around 6 months. Babies begin producing sounds like pa 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 or ma ma ma. These sounds occur in every language and culture. The second stage of language acquisition is called one-word stage. It happens around 12 months. This is the stage where children begin using single words, such as mama, milk, dog, ball. Although they produce one word, they mean a whole sentence. When they say milk, they mean I want some milk. The third stage is the two-word stage. That happens when the baby is around 18 to 24 months old. Children begin combining words, such as mommy come, more juice, or dog run. At this stage, although the grammar is simple, meaning is clear. The last important stage of language acquisition is the telegraphic speech. At this stage, children produce short sentences without function words. For example, Daddy go work, instead of saying Daddy is going to work. The most important content words appear first. Now, what is overgeneralization? Children do not simply imitate adults. They are actively creating grammatical rules. For example, after they have learned that the past tense often ends in ed, they may say goat, eated, bringed. So they are applying creatively one rule to all the grammatical forms. This is a strong evidence that language learning involves rule formation rather than simple memorization. Now let's see how second language acquisition is different from the first language acquisition. Adults and older learners acquire additional languages differently. There are several factors that may affect this process, such as age, motivation, exposure, learning strategies, anxiety, or opportunities for communication. Unlike first language acquisition, second language learning often requires explicit instruction and conscious practice. There is a hypothesis called critical period that, according to this hypothesis, some researchers suggest that for acquiring a language, there is a critical period. According to this hypothesis, children learn languages more easily before puberty because the brain is especially adaptable during early development. Although adults can certainly become fluent, achieving completely native pronunciation may become more challenging with age. The critical period hypothesis is still an active area of research. Let's conclude what we have learned today. We have learned what language acquisition is. We have talked about the difference between first and second language acquisition. We have seen the major theories. We have talked about the 4 basic stages of child language development. We talked about overgeneralization. And finally, we talked about the critical period hypothesis. Language acquisition is one of the most remarkable achievements of the human brain. Every child accomplishes this extraordinary task within just a few years. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video about bilingualism and multilingualism.